Hi everyone, Transformers from 5000 here with another director's commentary for We Are Here, We Are Waiting. Now this is a story that I've wanted to tell for years. I wrote it years ago, but never really got around to doing it. A lot of the expanded universes that I originally wanted to do, which I've either made or are currently in production now or will be in production soon, all sort of got put on hold while I made the End of Days Part 1, and now sort of End of Days Part 2 got delayed while I made the expanded universes and caught up with myself. But now I'm sort of working between End of Days Part 2 and expanded universe stories. Now this is going to be quite an interesting commentary. I've got a lot to talk about, so I might be sort of going back and forth here and there. But yeah, we've got a lot to talk about. So let's get straight into it. Now this is Breakaway trying to find Optimus Prime, trying to find safety of his team. The characters have intercepted Optimus's message, which he sent out in Arrival to Earth, which is a mini-series that I haven't worked on yet, but that's a little teaser for you right there. And yeah, we're picking up on Breakaway here. I really like this shot of just him and Optimus, and the little shake there as it rewinds. Well, the one thing you might actually notice is the hologram of Optimus is a little bit different to Hound and Swerve, what we see in Space Chase and at the end of this story as well. Did a little few different filters and effects, so give both holograms a little bit of a different look. Nice little introduction here to Whirl as well, and as you can see, as the door opens, light naturally flows into the room. So yeah, just a little bit more natural there, and I'm really proud with the motion blur on this. There's one shot later on when I don't add motion blur. It's a hot rod shot when he turns around. I'll point that out when I get to it, but for the most part the motion blur works really well on this, apart from that one hot rod shot. Now there's a few things I want to talk about in this story, which is how it originally was going to look. Not anything drastically, just visually some stuff would have looked different. But yeah, I'm really glad of the audio as well. I tried some different sort of levels with the audio, with the sound effects and the voice and everything like that, and the soundtrack, and I think I balanced everything really well on this, so I'm really proud of that. But yeah, so Optimus sent out the message and everyone's trying to find the message. So in Space Chase we had Swerve and Hound, who basically intercept the message, and they were trying to find Optimus, similar to RC and Tailgate. They were trying to find Optimus. They were following the signal. It's just we picked up on RC and Tailgate further on into the journey, whereas Breakaway and his advancing Autobots and Hound and Swerve, it's sort of like the middle part of the journey, so we're not quite there yet, but they're getting there. But yeah, they're following Optimus Prime's little breadcrumbs of a trail. And as we learn in this scene, Breakaway is stressing himself out so much that he's made himself ill. Partly of it is because of what happened in Escape from Chaos. That definitely added some trauma to him, but sometimes physical wounds heal quicker than mental, and that definitely scarred him in Escape from Chaos mentally. But this is a different kind of stress. Breakaway is essentially got the whole team on his back. He had that stress of trying to make everyone safe, and yeah, it's quite hard. I want to show a contrast between Hot Rod and Breakaway in this. The fact that Breakaway and Hot Rod are essentially the same age, but showing you the difference of maturity. Breakaway has a lot of duties and a lot of responsibilities to keep the team safe, and he has all this on his head, whereas Hot Rod is a free spirit. He doesn't really have any stress. His stress is just, he doesn't really have much stress, to be honest, Hot Rod. Like I said, he's a free spirit, but you got the contrast between Hot Rod and Breakaway, and essentially Hot Rod's in this to the degree that he is, to show the contrast of what Breakaway used to be, not who he is now, but to show the contrast of Breakaway used to be happy and outgoing and confident, but now he's not, and that's what Hot Rod does. And I'm going to look forward to developing Hot Rod and Breakaway's relationship in the future stories. Really like this shot of, the planet, the strange mystery planet, and this audio here, right here, it sounds like Unicron Melody, and it's weird, but it's not. It's a royalty-free song on Soundscrete, and as soon as I heard it, I'm like, whoa, that sounds too close to Unicron Melody. How have they not got done for copyright? But you know, it's royalty-free, so it shocked me. But yeah. Now, yeah, we got Topspin in the background there, and you know, I tried to give everyone lines. I think the only character who doesn't have lines is Wheeljack, but we do see a brief shot of him with everyone in Byzantium. You know, that initial first shot of Byzantium. You know, we actually have that shot where everyone's looking around. If you actually pause a shot of Byzantium, you know, but just after we see the planet shot with the title sequence, you'll actually see everyone like looking around and stuff like that. So that's a nice little thing, or walking around. So yeah, we see Whirl taking charge of his anti-Autobots right here, and Skids and Mudflap. You know, I had this little theory about Jolt, because Jolt originally was voiced by the Lazy Eyebrow Reviewer, and then, you know, for personal reasons he stepped down, and then we got Pyroclastic Dog, and you know, they stepped down, and now we've got D Barry Audio for Jolt. And you know, he's Jolt is a character of many voices, and I had this theory, not making it canon, just a theory, that maybe Jolt's voice changes depending on the electrical charge inside of him. And yeah, here with Breakaway, he's saying, you know, he's all right now. I want to show that with the mental health aspect, how 1 minute you can be fine, 1 minute you can be terrible or whatever. But yeah, it's up and down with mental health, so I wanted to kind of show that 1 minute you can be okay and the next you're not, or vice versa. Yeah, and again in the background we can see characters looking around, just doing their own little thing. Hot Rod isn't really wanting to do anything, he's just sort of, you know, wanting to look where he can race. And this bit here as well, with Hot Rod saying mirror reading and explaining. So Hot Rod's kind of like a naughty little kid at school. So, you know, when he was zoning out and Will told Hot Rod that he wanted him to come along for the journey to back them up, Hot Rod was sort of zoned out and said like, what did you say? And, you know, Hot Rod was told off in front of everyone by Will a little bit. So the reason why Hot Rod is sort of explaining what a mirror reading is to Skid and Mudflap is, again, he's kind of like the naughty kid at school where they're trying to make a... what's the word? They're trying to make up for that little moment of no discipline. They're trying to show the teacher, in this case Will, they're trying to show them, hey, I am actually smart, I am actually intelligent, I can contribute, I am valuable, I'm not just a spare part. You know, so it did affect Hot Rod a little bit. Maybe that's his little bit of his stress, that people don't take him seriously, and he wants to show people that he can be valuable. So, yeah. And we also have Ultra Marcus debuting in this story as well. Amazing voice. Really like that. Hope you enjoyed the role. And if you're listening, Ultra Marcus, thank you again. I did definitely use certain video transitions in this, like pans and stuff. And I also added a lot of camera shakes as well, and I think that really went a long way to make the shots look a bit more natural. And yeah, the legendary story of how Hot Rod beat Megatron. He told everyone on Cybertron. Yeah. And you'll notice in certain shots, like this audio here where the mystery voice goes, break away, it goes from the left ear to the right ear. Like it's crossing over and putting you in the perspective. And the heartbeat, you can hear the heartbeat slowly rising, trying to give the audience, the viewer, that anxiety feeling to put you in Breakaway's shoes, like you're fine, you're okay, and then slowly the heart rate raises and it gets faster and it gets harder and louder and deeper and everything, and it's like you're going into Breakaway's mind. You know, you're actually going from nothing to panic mode, you know, taking you with him on that journey of panic. I love this music here as well. It's very reminiscent of Halo 2. I don't know which melody it is, but the music is very, I don't know, it just reminds me of Halo 2 soundtrack. Ah, this scene, I wanted to do this for ages. It's funny because originally it wasn't going to have as many effects as it did right here. It was going to be all plain, no colour correction, no brightness contrast, no effects or anything, because it's in Hot Rod's mind. But it looked better with the effects, and I suppose if Hot Rod is imagining all of this, he would imagine it with as massive as possible. You know, and there we have him all glowed up, Optimus like, hey, Hot Rod, he's a man. He's a man. Just self-gloating, you know, he's just so egotistical right now. And again, this bit, Hot Rod again showing himself that, again, he can be serious. He's not just some stupid kid. And there we see Swerve's ship. Now, you might notice bits of it are missing. So, basically, after Space Chase, there was a massive storm on the planet because we actually see in the credits scene that there's rain and it's acid rain and it's burning Swerve away and everything like that, and there's all wind and thunder and everything like that. And it's like there's a storm that's come and it's wiped away part of Swerve's ship and just broken it apart. So the dust particles you're seeing on screen right now and throughout the whole episode is like dust from the aftermath of the storm. So our characters arrived on the planet after the actual storm, you know, or one of the storms that happened on the planet. So very nearly, you know, if the dancing Autobots went up to the planet a little earlier, maybe they would have been caught in the storm. And we'll see in a minute, because with Breakaway, all his audio is like echoey almost. And we got the heartbeat, and we have a vignette effect showing like it's all in his mind. Whereas when we go to Whirl in a minute, all this sound stops and it goes normal. There's no vignette, there's no echo, there's nothing. And that's to show Whirl's perspective, and also the cave in the background. Breakaway, his point of view is it's glowing. Whereas if you can see now, from Whirl's point of view, the cave isn't glowing, it's just dark. It's just normal. But Whirl isn't seeing that. And again, that's to put the audience in that picture, that for Breakaway, it's all chaos, heartbeat racing, anxiety, everything. Whereas Whirl, it's nothing because he's not experiencing it. So it's showing you the two different contrasts there, which I really did like that. But I've got some more points to bring up about Swerve that I'll say soon. This shot, when I first saw it, this next shot coming up, where, you know, when Breakaway goes, no, and it blacks out, that last shot before it blacks out, this one. Oh my gosh, when I first saw that, I didn't expect it to be as good as that. I watched it thinking, it'll be mediocre, it'll be okay. And my jaw dropped more than Megatron in this episode. My jaw dropped more than Megatron. I don't want to sound egotistical, I don't want to sound like Hot Rod, but my gosh, I was amazed. Yeah, and we got the mystery voice there as Ultra Marcus as the mystery voice. I never said mystery voice as Ultra Marcus then. Gosh. And yeah, we got this slow fade in right there. And you can see that the sky is back to normal. So the episode starts and the sky's all colourful and nice and beautiful. And then as Breakaway gets into the mindset where all this is happening to him, you'll notice the clouds and the sky is turning really dark and dark red and grey and everything. And that's like the planet and the universe around that planet is changing. But now Breakaway is he's woke up again. He doesn't remember anything. It's all back to normal. You know, the mystery character's gone and it's all normal. But in a minute, when they actually have to, you know, when they detect energy spikes coming in and surrounding them, because that's what it is, all this energy spikes are closing in on them, and then they're circling into them, the sky changes again. So it goes from this nice, beautiful, colourful sky to dark again. So, yeah. Oh, damn, it was good to be Swerve again. I did miss him. I've only voiced him in one project, but I do like Swerve. So is Swerve dead? Is Swerve dead or is he alive? I'll answer that soon. And similar to Space Chase, I can't remember if I said this, but there's a red plane that I added on. I mean, the sky's changing here. You can see it getting dark. But I added a red plane over everything to give it that hot feeling of the planet, like it's really hot. And it's now like Breakaway is back to normal because his mind's reset and he's back to who he used to be. Really proud of that shot there. Really proud of this. Those lights. Again, you know, the lights, the headlights, and the shadows and the dust were all last minute additions. Everything was last minute additions. And you can just hear in this shot like the Xanthium ramp coming in and everything like that. You know. And this shot here where the Xanthium engines start, you can notice when the engines burst, the Xanthium just actually moves forward. It's very subtle, but as the engines start up, the Xanthium flies forward a little bit. So this shot was both easy and hard to do. These two shots when the Xanthium is flying, they were easy and hard to do. I don't know how I can say it's easy to do and hard to do at the same time, but it was easy and hard to do. It's a very bizarre saying that I don't know why I said that. It's an easy and hard thing to do, but it was. And the energy spikes, when they close in, we notice that they slowly go like bing, 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 and then they get faster, like bing, 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 and then they get really fast. And then as they escape the planet, they slow down. And that's, again, it's like the heartbeat, is to put you in this perspective of Breakaway and the characters, well, not just Breakaway now, but the full cast, because all the cast are experienced in this now. Really proud of that shot there where Breakaway walks up. Great motion blur on that. But yeah, it's to simulate that it's all fine, but it induces that anxiety, like, oh no, something's coming and we can't even see it. It's coming from all over. It's surrounding us, we can't see it. We know it's coming and it's getting closer. And then as you get away from the planet, even to the atmosphere, it's still following them. That's the scary thing. It's not just on the surface. As they're escaping the planet, it's going through the clouds and the atmosphere and into space pretty much, and then they get away. So, and it's kind of like the Unicron melody a little bit. It's the Unicron melody, even though it's not the Unicron melody, but I'm just going to call it the Unicron melody because it sounds like the Unicron melody. But the Unicron melody, it plays at certain points in the story where it's like Breakaway's going to experience something, or dangers around the corner or something like that. And this control room with Xanthium is the same control room that was in the End of Days Part 1 that we saw. All the little screens in the background and everything like that. Exactly the same as what was in End of Days. Go back to End of Days and you'll see it's the exact same. And you'll actually see in the background when, Jolt's in the background with Roadbuster. And also Jolt, generally on the surface of the planet, his hue is different. He's more of a grey. And that's to sort of reference how he actually looks for Dark of the Moon. His deluxe toy that I use. I was going to have him blue, but I just thought, it'll be nice to see what the Studio Series Jolt looks like in the Dark of the Moon colours. So, yeah. No, you're not here to stay as Breakaway because you're going to become Break Prime and then you're going to have even more stress. Gosh, I'm so cruel to Breakaway. And with the music, I tried to stay like a synthwave almost for this. It just fitted, and I had Nefex as a song that I used in this video, but the rest of the soundtrack came from Soundscrate, and it was all like synth based, as far as I can tell. And that's where the Unicron melody and the Halo 2 songs that sound like those, that's where they came from, Soundscrate. This next line that Breakaway says, this one, So let's not disappoint him. That was improv. Jay Watchcraft did that, and I'm like, whoa, that works. So I had to do that. And this last shot, so the planet you'll see is dark now. Before it was light. Now it's dark. Something's down there. But the interesting thing, look at the start of the episode and all the galaxies we see right now in the cosmos was all nice and bright as well. That, all you see in the background, that's not like the sky, that's like space. It was all bright and colourful. Look at it now. Whatever is down on that planet has affected the galaxy on this. Like, the actual like gas clouds in the galaxies we see, they're not colourful anymore, they're all dark and red. Something is changing not only the planet, but the entire galaxy. And you might say, well, if it's affecting the galaxy, then why did it let the Xanthium go? You know, why couldn't it chase them further? Not just through the planet's atmosphere, but all the way into space. I thought about that, you know, and that's not like a plot hole, that's intentional. They left the planet. They're still in the galaxy. They're still in danger right now. They think they're safe. They are in danger. They are in danger. Is whatever on the planet letting them go? Maybe. I mean, you might say, why is it letting them go? Well, we'll see. Oh, no one knows what this is. No one has... I've not told anyone. I ain't even told Jacob. Not even Jay Watchcraft. He doesn't know. And I know that when he listens to this commentary, if he does, he is probably going to want to kill me because I'm not telling him. No one knows. And, you know, with the Unicron melody, I know it's not the Unicron melody, but it sounds like it, so I'm just calling it the Unicron melody. But with the Unicron melody, people might say, is it Unicron? Is this whole episode about Unicron? Not going to confirm or deny, but let's just say that, you know, the End of Days Part 1 had Unicron in it, and he was banished to another realm. And we saw that, you know, that we actually saw the 13 Primes banish Unicron to another realm. So, you know, Unicron is making his way back in my universe to try and, you know, come back in present day. But that, you know, the End of Days is about Unicron. So surely if there was something about Unicron, I'd do it in the End of Days. So I'm not going to confirm deny if this is Unicron. But all I'm going to sort of say is it's something that's, as far as I know, has never been done before. And with Unicron making his return one day, as you know, Alpha Trion said in End of Days, Unicron will return in the time of Optimus Prime. Unicron's going on his own little journey. So maybe this is not Unicron. Hey guys, so Daniel in post-production right here. Apologies if there's any background noise, it's the washing machine. But just intersecting here between my original audio. So just want to say as well, you should overanalyze like everything that's in this episode, like all the dialogue that happens, and because you'll find little interesting things if you really dive deep. So when Will turns to the Wreckers and Jolt and says, you know, try and fix the ship, and Jolt, can you recharge the ship? Obviously, because Jolt is electrical, it's kind of like Jolt is actually charging the ship himself. Because he builds up this electrical charge in my series, and he can recharge the actual systems. It's a big ship, but he can do it, just slowly, you know, not fully. Because we even hear at the end of the episode where Jolt says, Xanthium at 60% charge. So he's not done it fully, but he's boosted it a little bit from his own power reserves. And then right at the end, when Breakaway goes to talk to Whirl in the final scene, we actually see Jolt and Roadbuster both working together in the control room. Jolt is potentially recharging something else, and Roadbuster is helping to fix something. You will see them in the background. So that's something to note there. Also, wanted to say that Hot Rod saying, this planet is perfect like Velocitron, and the little thing you should notice what's being talked about is Topspin actually says, if Velocitron even existed, Hot Rod. So there is a Velocitronian episode in my series called the Velocitronian Cup, and there will be future installments, hopefully, when I get around to it. But the Velocitron is canon in my universe. But Topspin's line saying, if Velocitron even existed, that shows they don't know it exists. Velocitron and potentially other planets in the Transformers universe, like maybe Caminus or other planets, the jungle planet. It's like Cybertron doesn't even know them. Maybe there's mythos of other planets out there containing Transformers life, but it's just mythos to a Transformers. It's not actually hard evidence fact like this is out there. It's just a myth, and Hot Rod chooses to believe in that myth that Velocitronian exists, which it does. Much like Springload in the Fountain of Energon, in Transformers Robots in Disguise 2015. So yeah, Hot Rod believes in it, other ones don't, but it is out there. So just saying, people in my series believe Velocitron doesn't exist, but it does. So that's one thing. And the other thing I wanted to mention was the thumbnail posters of Space Chase and We Are Here, We Are Waiting are actually reversed. So one poster being Space Chase is light, because they land on the planet and it's day and night, it's light conditions. Whereas We Are Here, We Are Waiting is dark because they sort of arrive on it sort of mid-evening, and then it gets really dark and it's a dark story. So there's a contrast between those two. But also, if you actually look, the planet in the background, the mystery planet on Space Chase, we see the south, the bottom of the planet. Whereas the We Are Here, We Are Waiting poster, we see the top of the planet. Now, obviously, they both stories take place in the same hemisphere. Whether that's the north, east, southwest, whichever bit of the planet, because they all, Swerve's ship crashes, and then Hot Rod and his crew and Breakaway and everyone finds the actual crash ship of Swerve. So it's all in the same hemisphere of the planet, but we see the sides of it. Like, one image is with Space Chase, it's at the bottom we see, and then in We Are Here, We Are Waiting poster, we actually see the top of the planet, like it's rotated around almost. So that's just a little interesting thing for you to notice and pick up there. So yeah, we're just gonna, play another bit, replay of the episode, just because so much more to talk about. But yeah, it's something that is different. It's not your typical Transformers story. This, it's got a lot of story to it. There's not really any action. And, I think when you have a Transformers story that isn't revolving around big action scenes, I love Transformers action. Like, End of Days was all Transformers action, and I really enjoyed that. And there's much more action to come now Megatron's back. But it's nice when you have a story that isn't action like this, when it's just story driven. And I think that's why I like Transformers shows. Some people might hate these, but I think I like it. Like Rescue Bots and Bots, when it's something different. I think when you focus on the character and watch the characters grow, it goes a long way. Now, the end credits song, what we just heard, so it had a little bit that Unicron melody song, but it was mainly Till I Let Go by NFX, which I actually used in my room decoration video, my documentary. That was really cool. Check that out. If you'd like, I'll leave it as a a little link in the corner. But that was my first ever song I've used in my universe. By song I mean like singing. It wasn't my first choice. I had some other songs that I wanted to do, and used for the credits, but I don't think were copyright free, so I decided not to use them. And I thought about using Till I Let Go by NFX, and I'm like, because I love the song, but do I want to add it to the story? I mean, I listened to it. I didn't do anything. I just sat in my lounge and just listened to it. Not even the music side, like the instruments, but I listened to the lyrics, and pretty much every single line is reminiscent of mental health in this story with Breakaway. Pretty much every line of that song relates to Breakaway stress, not being able to let go, not being able to move on, and the struggles of mental health. It fits too well. The lyrics of that song by NFX fit it too well, and I'm like, yeah, there's no way I can't use this. And I think looking back, I used it right. This was the right thing to use. And I did actually make the credits longer, with all the title card sort of things where I say all the actors' names and edited by and produced by. Normally, I do that on bigger stories like The End of Days or the bigger Expanded Universe stories. And on this one, I thought, I'll just do normal credits. Just let the credits roll. But hey, here, this shot of space here, you see it's all colourful. Whereas at the end of the episode, it's all black and red and purple. Well, sort of purple. It's got like a pink hue. But yeah, it was a great song to use. So in the credits, and yeah, the credits were longer because it is a big episode that I've been waiting on for a long time. And again, you can see in all these shots the shadows. Same with Space Chase, the characters have shadows. It has this red hue. Space Chase doesn't really have dust particles, because Space Chase we go on the planet when there's not been a storm, but there's a storm at the end of the episode. But in We Are Here, We Are Waiting, we pick up that the characters have arrived on the planet after the storm. So yeah. And this shot coming up is what I was talking about earlier about the motion blur, how there was one shot where it didn't work and it was Hot Rod. When Hot Rod turns around, when Will says, I need Hot Rod as well, and Hot Rod turns around going, huh? What did you say? That shot originally had motion blur on it, but it just, oh my god, it looked terrible. I couldn't get it to work, so I just thought, let's take it off and it'll make it look better. But generally, that shot right there. Generally, I think the motion blur was good. Well, it was pretty good. And you'll actually notice every time we see Whirl, his optic is glowing, because when I was doing the colour correction, the optic of Blur, gosh, what am I talking about Blur for? The optic of Whirl, you couldn't see it, because of colour correction, the brightness and contrast, and the curves effects and everything, it drowned it out and you couldn't see it. So I had to add another, duplicate the layer and mask around the eye and make it brighter and everything, just so you could see it. So every single shot you see, whenever Whirl turns his head or moves, I had to manually mask and move the mask and keyframe the mask so it would move with Whirl, because otherwise you won't be able to see his eye. And, with Skids and Mudflap, I took some of the pieces off the actual figure. Only bits that said ice cream truck or anything that had to do with Earth. So this is their Cybertronium forms. And obviously, if you have those figures, you'll know that they are half the size of the actual Skids and Mudflap deluxe figures. The main ones in Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon. So the 2-pack of Skids and Mudflap, the ice cream truck, are really small. So I had to increase the size and colour out the ice cream logos and the writing on the shoulders of Skids and stuff like that, because why would they have writing on them saying get your ice cream from Earth when they've never been to Earth, And Skids with the headlights, that was a last minute addition as well, much like Breakaway's headlights when he's driving, they were a last minute addition, and they're just something that I nearly got the episode done, and I was going to bed at night and I thought, tomorrow I'm going to finish the episode. I was lying to myself. I never would have finished it that day, but I was going to bed and I just thought, what happened if I added headlights on skids? And I never looked back because it has done wonders. It's really great. Yeah, Hot Rod's hue sort of changed a bit. When I did colour correction on that, he's very red and orange and yellow, more than the figure. It makes the figure look really bland. And with the darkness and contrast of the colour correction, it's made Breakaway look from his sort of nice yellow and bright red to like a maroon and like a darker version, like the colour wise, and it almost reminds me of like IDW, how Breakaway and IDW Getaway had like darker colours than the Titans Return figure, and I do actually like that. I do like that. And again, we're hearing the Unicron melody right there. And yeah, all like I said, all those effects like the shadows and the headlights and everything, and the dust particles, they were last minute additions, so they almost didn't make the cut. And speaking of like Skids and Mudflap being scaled up, I think I mentioned Optimus Prime in Hot Rod's tail that I made up is also scaled up. And the Phase 6s right there, Phase 6s are canon in my universe now, even though they are only in Hot Rod's imagination, but they are actually, he does reference them, so they are actually real characters. I do want to make a story on the Phase 6s one day. I've sort of got one planned for Overlord and, Sky Shadow and Six Shot, but mainly Overlord. So, this episode was heavily inspired by the Clone Wars. If you're a Clone Wars fan, you'll probably guess where I'm going with this. I remember when I first scripted this episode or started coming up with the idea, I phoned Jacob and I was saying like, I really want to tell a story that's similar to a Clone Wars episode when Anakin sees the future, and that shot when Anakin is getting consumed by the clouds and all these visions. That's what happens with Breakaway. We do like a 360 shot of him, and all clouds surrounding these pink, purple sort of smoke cloudy things. So, very reminiscent of Clone Wars, and a lot of my series is inspired by Star Wars, The Walking Dead as well, and Transformers, obviously. So, when I pick up this story, it's going to continue in Autobots Reunite, with the actual dancing Autobots. So, make of the title what you will, Autobots Reunite, since they're on the way to Earth and just try and find Optimus. So again, make of that of what you will, but I'm not sure when I'm going to make Autobots Reunite. I will make it this year, hopefully. I don't know when, because I'll make an End of Days Part 2, and I want to get some, I don't know which expanding universe to focus on next. I'll have to see realistically what I can make in certain time frames, but I'm looking forward to Autobots Reunite. It's a simple story, but it's got some humour in it. And Breakaway his mind's been erased now. He still remembers things. He's not forgotten who everyone is. It's just he's forgot about his vision. A seed's been planted in his mind, and it's still there, very much so. But it's just he's forgot what he's seen. So you're definitely setting up future stories here. And this particular story with Breakaway, I'm not going to pick it up for a little while. I'm sorry, I know that's disappointing to hear, but I'm not going to be picking it up for a while. Like I said, Autobots Reunite is Autobots reuniting, but the actual story that Breakaway is going through right now, seeing the future, it's going to be a while till I get to that, but I had to make this now to set it up for the future. It won't be as powerful if I made this, closer to the point where I make the actual connecting story. I feel like it was time to make this now. It'll pay off in the future. So Swerve, I think this is one of the last points I've got to make, but Swerve, so I was going to reveal what happened to him, sort of. If you remember in Space Chase, the bounty hunter voiced by Input, he's called Kortork. If you're wondering which one it is, it's the blue Halo Spartan. The other bounty hunter in Space Chase is Garnak, and if you're familiar with the comics, then you will know who Garnak is. And Lord Mega Andy voices Garnak. But yeah, so Kortork basically says when they come on the planet, he says, we shouldn't have made the trip down here. This planet, it gives me the shudders, and he like shivers. The shudders is basically just the shivers. I just sort of made it up, just an alien term, you know. It gives me the shudders, and then we're going to make an expanded universe called the Shudders, or the Revealed Shudders. Spoiler: the shudders weren't going to get revealed. Like whatever is scary in this planet wasn't going to get revealed. It was basically going to be, and I'll tell you the story now because I'm not going to make it. But it's basically going to be picking up directly from Space Chase when there is the big storm, and Swerve wakes up and his arm is burning, his red heart is like acid rain and everything like that, and it's a different planet. Not like it is here, but darker. Like he's in the middle of a storm. On this one, we're just sort of in between storms, but in the Shudders, or the Revealed Shudders, where we pick up on Swerve, he is in a storm, and it's a different atmosphere, a different vibe. It's scary, it's horrible, and basically Swerve turns around, he sees something, and it scares him to death. Not literally, he doesn't die, but he gets terrified, and he just runs, and he hides. That's all I'm going to say. And then it was going to cut to black. So, basically Swerve had an audio log from his ship that he collected, and he recorded a message to warn people not to go to the planet, but he dropped the audio log as he was running away, so that's when Hot Rod picked it up. So basically he ran up that hill, because where Hot Rod, Skids and Mudflap found the audio log, it's on top of the hill where his ship is, you know, down below. So I keep saying Breakaway, but Swerve ran up the hill, dropped the audio log, and didn't stop running. So the audio log was hopefully going to make it like off planet, because what's the point of it being on the surface? You know, you get to the surface and then you get a message saying don't come to the surface. So Swerve's intention was to escape the planet somehow. Maybe he could have used a Hound Pound, but maybe that ship has been taken now by Kortork and Garnak. Maybe, we'll see. But yeah, Swerve's intention was to get off world and then leave the audio log like in space somewhere, so people could intercept it or detect it with like electronic equipment and intercept the message and not go on a planet. But I mean, anyone in this solar system is in danger. You know, it's not a nice place to be. So yeah. Got the sort of monk. I don't know what to say. You're just like a monk going like, oh, just sort of. I don't know. I wanted some sort of like humming, or you know. It just made it better.
You come to talk?
Now,
Can't stop thinking about Swerve.
I think that's pretty much all I have to say in this video.
The wreckers.
But I mean, if you have any questions, because this is a big story, if you have any questions, if you're looking at the sort of roof, like where Breakaway and Whirl is, sometimes we see shots like low angle shots, and we see like the roof or further walls of the room they're in. You'll actually see like triangle shaped windows. That's to sort of simulate if you look at Byzantium or the Autobot Arc from Dark of the Moon, the actual toy, it had like triangular shaped windows, and that's meant to simulate that, because this big circular window we see in front of them is the main window, but you know, it has windows all on the top as well, so this is one of the roof, the ceiling windows. But yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know. If I get a lot of questions, I'll make another commentary. but I think 40 minutes for this is long enough. I probably will remember something else to talk about after I finish recording this, but hey, again, I can always make another one. So anyway, I hope you all have an amazing day. I want to thank you all for the support, and keep transforming and keep being awesome. So yeah, thank you everyone. Take care, and follow me on Instagram if you have Instagram at TFM1000. Hit the notification bell to stay tuned for future uploads. And you can also in the right hand corner check out more commentaries and more Expand Universe and mainline story installments from my Cinematic Universe. So I will leave it at that. But yeah, thank you everyone, and take care. Transform and roll out. And one more thing, I told you I'd forget, but this last shot here where Will says, "Are you going to listen to that again?" and Breakaway says no, that's a sign he's finally moved on. But without this mysterious character, you can see those windows right here in this shot, but without this mysterious character wiping his mind, Breakaway would probably make himself even sicker. But he's moved on now, Breakaway. He's moved on. For now, until he gets to Earth, becomes Breaker Prime, and then goes through all the stress of leadership again. But yeah, anyway guys, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you everyone, and take care.